Hi there, and welcome to lesson number 12, which is Developing Learner Independence. In previous lessons, we've discussed how to improve the memory skills of students, how to improve their responses to your instruction, and we've touched on how we make learners more responsible for their learning. As a classroom teacher for many years, one of my favorite issues was when the student would come up to my desk with a blank sheet of paper and say, "I don't get it." About that statement, I might say, "What is it you don't get?" When the response was any of it, I would say, "Well, let's start with picking one problem that you don't understand." When they were able to do that, then I was able to say, "Well, now that you know how to do that particular problem, can you find another problem that looks pretty much the same and then solve it?" And miraculously, students were able to do that. For my students taking a multiple choice or fill in the blanks test, often they look at question number 1, which they don't understand, stare at it, and not move forward. I tell students to skip that question and move to the next one. When we were working on practice test and the situation arose, I would teach them to skip that answer and go to the next one. And surprisingly, 2 or 3 answers down, they might say, "Oh, now I know the answer to the first question because some of the essential information they needed for the first question was embedded in the 4th question," so that they could go back and successfully answer number 1. Again, teaching children to think about their thinking. To foster independence, we have to foster a very important part of self-regulation, which is called self-advocacy. That means that students need to communicate effectively to us what exactly it is that they need at any given time. At the very heart of this course, we're going back to visit our old friend, metacognition. The point of all of this is that we want to build on the executive functioning of our learners. We want to guide appropriate goal setting, support planning and strategy development, facilitate managing information and resources, and enhance the capacity for self-monitoring progress. If you remember in the first early lessons we talked about doing a survey of learners to find out what they believe their learning styles were and what might be their learning needs and strengths. It's so important for learners to know what they know and to know what they don't know. The old saying, "Those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it," is never more true than when we are learning a new skill or concept. As an appendix to this Learner Independence Unit, I'm posting 2 self-advocacy question charts to be used by learners as they search for answers to a question or problem. Let's zoom in. The first set of questions is more appropriate for students who are younger, such as in elementary school, and the second that you'll see is more appropriate for learners who are in middle school or high school or even college. Note that some of the questions are concerns based on physical location in a classroom, where others are based on understanding a specific problem or question the student is having. These advocacy skills can be taught to young learners so that they will internalize them as successful learners moving forward from public school to college. I heard you say this. Is that correct? Could you repeat that, please? One more time, please. I didn't hear what someone said. Could you repeat that? Could you ask them to repeat it, please? I don't understand how this homework question or problem. I need more help. It is hard for me to copy from the overhead and to listen at the same time. Can I please sit in a different seat in class so I can hear you better? Again, for older students, I heard the direction to blank. Is that correct? Could you do one more problem, please? I'm not sure I understand. That didn't make sense to me. Would you explain it in a different way? When do you offer tutoring? I don't know where to find blank. Would you help me or give me some ideas? Again, if you're interested in receiving copies of these self-advocacy cues, please complete the self-evaluation. Include in the comments section your request for these, including your email address, and I'll be happy to send them to you. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon.